What is going on, everybody? It's Jew coming to you with another comic book review. Before I get started, yes, I do comic book reviews, trailer reaction, podcast commentating, stories, and updates on different things. You have your recommendation, leave down below. Any books you want me to read, anything I need to look at, videos, it don't matter. Leave it down below. Hit that like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Now, we're going to get started on this one because this is one that's been kind of anticipated since part one of volume one of an indie, a year in strong, new artist, new writer, creator, straight from the Rippaverse, Isom volume 2 or part 2, whatever you want to call it. I did get this book. This book did show up last week. I got it last week. But I did not want to read. I did not want to rush through the read. So I read portions at a time. So that's why I'm doing my review now. When I did the first one, I rushed through it and I'd have had to read it twice. Because I rushed through it because I was so invested into make a video as fast as I can. Because my channel was new and I only had like 20 subscribers or something like that. I still don't have a lot of subscribers, but I was trying to keep up with what was trendy at the time. But to me, it's still trendy because a lot of people are still receiving their books to this day. And I noticed a lot of people did their reviews already, but I care less. Rippaverse, written by Eric July. Eric July is a musician, podcaster, YouTube channel. He has a very strong love for comic books. I've actually started watching this channel because he used to always talk about comic books, and he had boxes of them. It was maybe about, I want to say 2019, somewhere around there where I started watching this channel, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So that's into stuff that I used to grow up being into. But he's also into a lot of other stuff of commentating podcasts and talking points about the world and issues and stuff like that. But when a few years ago, he said he was writing a comic book. Hats off to him because a lot of people talk and it never happens. So he was writing it, and then when it came out with Isom 1, I ordered it. Now, I remember the price was a little high, to my opinion, for a comic book, but at the same time, it was a thick comic book. It's like a whole volume. But it was like, it's a small business at the time trying to rise, so you got to be pricey to start the business. And unfortunately, that's for most business. So, I mean, I have no issue with paying a couple dollars. If you're broke, that's on you. So I read Isom 1. I did a review. You can see it at the bottom of my page. One of the first videos I posted. And I was in between about the first one. I think I gave it like a 6.5 out of 10. Somewhere around there. I thought the dialogue was a little dry. Not like really dry. I just thought there should be a little bit more tone in the story. They did introduce a few characters in the first one that's coming for the Rippaverse, which is Yura and Alpha Core. And then at the end of the book, it showed like other groups that they plan to add to the Rippaverse. So that was pretty cool. I thought the art was good. I thought the book cover was great. I thought the main issue I had with the first one was that Isom Avery was just coming out of the country, outside life after quitting being I guess superhero, being Isom. But it never explained why'd you quit. So it kind of left you scratching your head like, wait, what are you doing out there, bro? Because I think the least you could do, it depends on writers. I think it's scary, or not scary, but what's the word I'm looking for? I say risky or creative risk, where you're trying to figure out, like, do I start this from the very beginning on how he became a superhero? Do I start him just already a superhero and then showing why he quit? Or do I just start in the middle of somewhere and then we'll get to that later. And some will start off from the bottom. They'll start off just a regular person. Spider-Man was a teenager, blah blah blah. He got bit by the spider, and da 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 da. You could do that. You go that route. You go the route where it's already happening. Then you go flashback, and we're going to see, when did this start? Was you a kid? Was you 5? Was you 6 years old? When did these superpowers come about? So I just didn't have an understanding of what was going on from the beginning to when he quit to. But other than that, I thought there was some good parts. He had the villain in there. This dude named Darren. Darren is like a organizational boss of a crime boss of a crime organization. He has some excepts in there. That's what they're called. All the people with the gifts of power, they're called excepts. And he had some of his group. They ran into Avery, aka Isom, later due to his sister and some friends being involved with something that brought him back out. And he ended up getting into a fight, destroying one of the guys that was an except. Darren is like, wait. And they knew each other from high school. Avery and Darren knew each other from high school. So this kind of picks up in Isom 2, where Darren is going after Altona, which he's trying to get information from her about Isom. And wait a minute, I got this stuff on the screen. He's trying to get information about Isom from her, slaps her around, and then, he's talking to Avery, that is. Isom's having this conversation with, I want to say, his mentor or someone he looks up to. I don't know, is it Shrink? I never really got to that character. But he's flashing back. So they're giving us the reason. They're giving us the reason he quit. So if you haven't read that, I'll let you read it for yourself. So it finally gave us the reason why he quit. It was something that happened that just messed with his brain for a long time. Now, I don't know when he became Isom. So that's the only part we left out. So maybe they'll throw a throwback all the way until he was 5 years old. Now, I may have to recap again with Isom 1. I can't recall if they had there was probably some words in there that kind of explain when it started. I'm thinking there was, but I'm about to look back again. Anyways, this story and the dialogue is way better than the first one. Well, I ain't gonna say way better. I ain't gonna separate it this far, but I feel like it jumped. It did a very good job because it moved. It kept you in tune with the story because it kept you interested because there was different things going on. There was what's the guy? There's a guy. Oh man, what is the guy? Oh yeah, there was a guy named Lincoln from Projects. What's it? Projects, founder of Projects. He's the one that helped his friend. And they went after Darren, and there was that going on with them. There was also this other character they introduced named Goudin or something like that. Goudin, I want to say Goudin. He's like pretty much a first responder to everything, but he has all these skill sets. Lab investigation, putting out fires and finding out stuff and information. So they have a good friend, and Avery goes to his lead on his ranch and goes missing after he gets attacked by these creatures they set the whole damn thing on fire, his facility, and they some type of beast or something, and his friend Sam is missing, and now he needs to figure out what the hell, and they were there, then they left. They didn't even try to kill him when he confronted them, so it left him uneasy. So he went back to talk to his guy, Goudin. I could be saying that wrong, Goudin, and Anyways, that guy led him to a new introduced character named Blood Ruth, right? That was the name, Sydney Blood Ruth, and to finish the investigation. And she's a special character. She's a special character. She has dragons and wolves and stuff. Like, she's a special character. Anyway, they meet up, they don't know each other. She's trying to figure out, like, why did he lead you to me, and da da da. Well, they end up they're trying to figure out where these beasts are. She has the information. So they end up going there, and a lot happens. So I'm gonna leave it at there. I'm not gonna tell too much of the story. They end up going there, and it's a whole entire freaking colony over there, and he has to go through them. He has to be a tough guy. But yeah, so some of the characters they introduced was Chadrin, Guding, Sydney Bloodruth. They did have like a little cameo of the Alpha Core. They talked about Yura. They were trying to figure out why Yura dropped the guy and who was these guys, and so it's a lot of the universe is kind of, or do I say Rippaverse? they're kind of mixing them together just to say, hey, these people are here. These people know of this person. These people don't even know each other, but they're here. So I think the next book that's going to come out. Anyways, I'm gonna stop right there, and I'm gonna give this one an 8.5. I really enjoyed it. I'm not gonna sit there and lie. I mean, the only parts I do scratch my head with is what surprise. I guess leave me scratching my head as well. I was more surprised of the characters of the creatures. That kind of was like, that was a nice little throw in, but it was a little different for superhero-ish. So I think the next for Rippaverse is Yura and Alpha Core. I'm not sure what order they're going to be releasing. Alpha Core and Yura. I'm probably more interested in Yura. But then again, I'm curious to see what Alpha Core is about. And I guess at some point the Sydney and Gudine and Chadrin and all of them will have their own standalones. Sydney Bloodruth may be interesting. But yeah, the art was by Cliff Richards, Gabe at L-Tab, and obviously this is from Eric July, aka Young Rippa, from the Rippaverse Comics Code of Ethics. If you have not ordered it, go to the website, the Rippaverse website, and cop you a book. It's an indie. If you don't know who it is, look him up. He's a YouTuber. His name is Young Rippa. I think he did a good job with the second one. Now I'm interested to see where the third one's going to lead. Now, some people are not happy, or some of the haters, I would say. I've seen some videos of haters who hates on Young Rippa. They'll say stuff like, "All these books are taking too long to come out between each other. They're terrible. They're trash." They're just like being biased because they don't like his takes on certain stuff. They don't like. I don't know. It's weird, but I like good artists. I like people telling how it is, and I'm willing to support, and I'm willing to see for myself. So I really enjoyed it. So check it out. Young Rippaverse, Isom Volume 2 or Part 2, or what do they call it? Part 2. All ill-advised, Part 2.